So friends, Donald Trump may have been looking for 11,780 votes in Georgia, but Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis is only going to be looking for 12 votes. Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So friends, it's about to happen in Georgia. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis just uttered four words that make her intentions crystal clear. We're ready to go. Here's the new reporting, this from CNN. Fulton County DA says work is done in Trump probe and we're ready to go. And that article begins, Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis reaffirmed in a local news interview that she will announce her charging decisions by September 1 in her investigation into efforts by Donald Trump and his allies to overturn Georgia's 2020 presidential election result, while applauding the ramped-up security measures around the local courthouse. Quote, "The work is accomplished," Willis told CNN affiliate WXIA at a back-to-school event over the weekend. Quote, "We've been working for 2.5 years. We're ready to go." And friends, before I move on to the third and final data point, which is a really sweet one, it involves Judge McBurney down in Fulton County clearing the legal decks, paving the way for a Donald Trump indictment because he just rejected Donald Trump's efforts to put a stop to Fani Willis's indictment of him, of his co-conspirators. And frankly, Judge McBurney throws some really fun rhetorical flourishes in his new ruling. But before I turn to that third data point, let me take up the topic of these ramped up security efforts, the barricades being put around Fulton County Courthouse to protect everyone, right? Protect the prosecutors, the defense attorneys, the judges, the witnesses, the grand jurors, and the defendants. You know, Donald Trump is infamous for whipping people up, for inciting riots, right? For encouraging them to engage in violence. We saw it on January 6th, where he set the date for the Capitol attack. He called the mob to D.C. on January 6th will be wild. He then told them expressly, you have to fight like hell or you won't have a country anymore. He directed them to march on the Capitol and stop the certification of Joe Biden's win. He told them go down there and stop the steal. So, we already know what Donald Trump is capable of. But I actually think we can take heart. Here's why. When Donald Trump was first criminally indicted up in New York, remember how he tried to replicate January 6th? Hey, come to New York for my arraignment. We'll be wild. He didn't put it in precisely those terms, but he sent the same message to his supporters. And what happened on the day he was arraigned in New York? Very few people showed up. Frankly, there were as many people who opposed Trump who showed up in New York City on the date of his arraignment as there were Trump supporters. And the good news is there was no violence. So Donald Trump gave it another try when he was indicted down in Florida, his first federal criminal indictment. He said, hey, come on down to Florida for my arraignment. We'll be wild. And even down in Florida, in what some people would call Trump country, no one showed up. In fact, fewer people showed up for his arraignment in Florida than showed up for his first criminal arraignment up in New York. So that's a promising trend. So how will Donald Trump's arraignment in Georgia, in Fulton County, in Atlanta, play out? Well, first of all, I'm glad that they are fortifying the Fulton County Courthouse, putting up barricades. Better that they be prepared just in case. But I have a feeling no one's going to come. Donald Trump is going to try to assemble a riot, and no one's going to show up. So it's a good thing that they are fortifying the courthouse. It's a good thing that they are preparing just in case Donald Trump again tries to incite his supporters to violence. But I'm feeling more confident that the allure of Donald Trump, when he tells people to come fight for me, is waning. Now let's turn to the third data point. That is the very recent ruling by Fulton County Judge McBurney rejecting Donald Trump's attempts to stop the Georgia authorities from prosecuting him. You may recall that recently Donald Trump filed a motion with the Georgia State Supreme Court saying, you have to put a stop to this, these people who are trying to prosecute me, trying to indict me. You have to disqualify District Attorney Fani Willis and her entire office. Tell them they can't prosecute me. These were absurd requests, baseless requests, lawless requests. And you may recall the Georgia Supreme Court just summarily denied it, threw Donald Trump's motion out. But the same motion was still pending before the trial court judge, Judge McBurney, who has supervisory authority, loosely speaking, over the grand jury